topic for the debate is the fight against child labor is being lost.
The first participant is Monica Nirola, and she'll be speaking for the motion.
We are all mute witnesses of child labor everywhere in our vicinity. I ask you, have you not traveled in a microbus whose conductor was a child? Have you not eaten in a restaurant where your meal was served by a small boy? Bus services and restaurants are not the only places where child labor is rampant. Apparel and carpet industries, bakeries, workshops, groceries, fruit shops, and numerous other places are the sites where cheap child labor is being used shamelessly. Besides, rebel groups worldwide have used children as soldiers, violating the international law against child labor. Our country has not been an exception. I cannot say for sure that the participants, the judges, and the audience gathered here in this hall have not received the services of some child domestic at their respective homes. I ask my opponents, don't these evidences from our own vicinity suffice to conclude that the United Nations, its member countries, various national and international non-governmental organizations working in this field have been utterly unsuccessful in curbing child labor, let alone abolishing it? Almost a century after the first International Convention Against Child Labor was held, the International Labour Organization's fact sheets of 2010 reveal that we have more than 200 million child laborers worldwide. According to ILO's recent statistics, there has been a 20% increase market in the number of child laborers of the age group 15 to 17 years. My opponents might naively argue that we need more time and funding to reach the goal. How many more centuries do you need? And do you know how much money has been put for this fight of yours? The biggest dedicated child labor program spends $60 million in 2008 alone. I am not arguing in favor of child labor, do not get me wrong, far from it. I am simply implying that all our efforts towards eradicating child labor have failed. We have been utterly unsuccessful. And the question here is why we have failed and what new measures we should adopt to abolish child labor effectively. Thank you.
Monica, with every episode you have progressed, and that's a very good sign. Today you are confident, clear, bold, and very good research as well. You have used very good words. Your choice of words are very good, and expression as well. I'm glad you mentioned child soldiers because that often gets missed out in this whole context. Good luck.
I really liked the presentation, the whole way of delivering your points. But presentation is good, but still you have shown a little bit of aggressiveness. You know, you're so like aggressive with your own points, and I also became a little bit, you know, like. We have to give a strike, or you have to make a strike, no, like something like that. So don't please move your hands too much, because whenever people are talking, we get to notice their movements of the hand more than what they speak. So hand movement a little bit less, and everything is all right.
Monica, I think you were very impressive. It was very structured, which is very important, actually. You have a lot of ideas in your head, but how do you present it? So I think you aced it there. You have a lot of fire in you, which I think it's very important at this stage in the competition. So good job.
Now I'd like to call upon our next participant, Subhasri Brosnaith. She'll be speaking against the motion.
Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. Child labor is one of the issues of human rights that has gained progress over a decade. Monica, you said that organizations have not been able to achieve success, but international labor organizations' report show that the absolute number of child labor in the world was 352 million in 1996, came down to 317 million in 2000, 222 million in 2004, and stands at less than 215 million at present. In Nepal also, the number dropped from 2 million to 1.5 million. This trend is testimony to the evidence that we are not losing the fight against child labor, and I firmly believe that this decline will continue sharply because, first, most countries, including Nepal, are committed to ILO's conventions of minimum age and other treaties and have enacted and enforced laws. This makes child labor a punishable crime and guarantees child right protection. Second, there has been a steady increase in the number of organizations working against child labor. They are actively engaged in rehabilitation, rescue, education, awareness creation, operating helplines, and literally fighting for them. Shanta Chowdhury, an ex-CA member of Nepal, herself was a Kamlari who rose to such position. Such efforts will never go in vain. Third, poverty is the root cause of child labor. Education is the main combat force against it. In Nepal, there are activities like Education for All in motion. Youth literacy rate stands at 77%, and the people living under the poverty line has declined to 25%. We have every reason to believe that we are not losing this fight. Those of you who are saying that we are losing this fight are actually helping us to win this fight by creating awareness about it on TV. Thank you so much for that. In the history of time, there are very few generations who get to defend freedom in the hour of its maximum danger, and we must not shrink from this responsibility. As the future of this nation, I refuse to believe that we are losing this fight. We have one world, one future. Let us make it a better one together. Thank you.
Subhasri, you countered your opponent very well, and that's a very good part of a debate. However, you were more spontaneous in your previous contest. Today, it looked like you're referring a lot to your memory. Having a good research is a very good thing. It's a part of debate. But at this point, you want to use your spontaneity, which you have shown in the past. Overall, I would say you did very good today.
Shubhasri, I like the way you opened your presentation and our debate, and I really like the way you cut down the points of your opponent's point by evidence. And also, I liked the way you overpowered your own points. And congratulations, and for being semi-finalist. And I wish you all the best for the next round.
Very good counter argument. I think you put up great examples. You did your research that shows, and your body language is very good. However, I would say cut down a bit on the bit of a satire. if because sometimes that might come out as negative. We understand what you're trying to do, but sometimes just cut that down a bit. But overall, it was very good.
Now I'd like to call on stage Monu Girl, and she'll be speaking for the motion.
When we think about childhood, we recall the images of happy children playing in playgrounds, going to grade school, and learning. But for 215 million kids worldwide, this is a harsh reality. When they think about childhood, they only do is cry or just become sad. This is because of the ignorance by the government and the people. My friends say that there are a lot of organizations working actively for the child labor abolition. But where are the results? You say the number is going down, but I don't see any significant action being done, any significant result being absorbed. According to a report given by World Bank, out of nearly 27% of the total children of age group 5 to 14 are engaged in labor, out of which nearly 37% belong to Africa. This is a really astonishing number, which isn't going down yearly, it's actually rising. So, not only the government, even we are to blame. Do we take any action when we see any kid working? Do we do anything? I don't think so. Children are the future of tomorrow, and making them ready for the future is the responsibility of every country's government. But the government is showing total failure in doing so. They make plans, but implementation is never done. Why is that so? Why don't they translate their commitments into practice? Why? The fight against child labor is really being lost nowadays because the results, the abolition of child labor, isn't seen. So, thank you.
Today, somehow, you have to struggle, and everybody knows that. When you give statements and opinions, you have to base them on certain facts and figures, especially with a topic like this one. You've done much better in the past, and I hope you pick up on that again.
While debating, I believe that presentation is equally important as well, as much as the content and the way you deliver. So please be a little bit calm, and you cannot pause more than 3 seconds while you're debating. So keep that point note in your mind. All right.
We all get nervous. We all, it's when you're speaking publicly, we all go through that, and it's okay. But how do you, get over it? So I suggest if you get nervous, you take a deep breath, you know what you're talking about, be confident in it, and believe in your argument. I don't know, I got the impression that you didn't believe what you were saying.
I'd like to call upon Supriya Tamang from Glacier International College. She will be speaking against the motion.
Fight against child labor is being lost. Do you think so? Well, I don't, because according to the research provided by the International Labour Organization, the number of children being used as child labor has declined by 13% in the past 8 years, that is from the year 2000 to 2008. Well, I admit that the decrease has not been significant and the decrease has been slow, but it certainly does not mean that we have lost the battle, because the battle is not over yet. This battle has raged over years, and even after fighting for so long, our warriors have not given up yet, and they are still fighting through child labor. By warriors, I mean the people who have taken initiation and who are concerned about stopping child labor. And it is because of their continued determination and their continued fighting that we are in the winning streak. This battle has been long and hard. I mean, we are talking about a battle. They are supposed to be long and they are supposed to be hard. But it does not mean that this battle is over yet. We are winning, slowly but definitely. We are winning, and we've got plenty of evidences and examples to support us on this fact. My opponent mentioned that 20% of children increased in child labor, but she forgot to mention the fact that we saw 30% decline in child labor who are in 5 to 14 years of category, and 24% decline in girls category. So and then of course we have many warriors entering the battlefield, and they are and it means that our army is rising and we are winning this fact. I'm sorry. It means that we are winning this battle. In the end, I like to end my debate by quoting Alexander the Great's famous quote, "I will not steal my victory." Exactly like that, we will not steal our victory. We will earn our victory. Thank you very much.
Supriya, I've definitely done much better in the past. Today was slightly disappointing because you are a very good debater. You lacked on the facts and data. It's a technical subject that we are discussing here, especially when your previous contesters and who are speaking for and against, they both have come up with very good data and facts and research. It will get tougher, as you become the latter speaker. You used a lot of words like fight, army, battled, battles, and victory. We're discussing about child labor.
Yeah.
And the fight is after the child labor. The fight is not before. So I think the preparation part was very less in today's performance. Last time you did much better.
Yes, as Santosh said that you've a little bit gone far away from the subject matter, all right? So you must know the inside out of the topic. And I feel like you have not gone, you don't have much points. So try to give, even the simple examples can be really good while debating. Don't only think about the big things, all right?
Supriya, I think you do have confidence. That's good, but you have to utilize it to your best. How can you do that? So, yes, your argument was not strong enough, and I think you know why. There was a lack of presentation. It's clearly seen. And you talked about examples, but you gave none. So my advice to you would be to get to the point. You were talking about battle, going to the battlefield, which is good. You're trying to prove a point, but it's best done when you give simple examples and you get to the point and prove your argument and believe in what you're saying. So, all the best for.
Now I'd like to call upon Samiksha Bhusal of Buralin Conter School. She'll be speaking for the motion.
CWIN, ILO, UNICEF have been working for these many years to fight against child labor. But just yesterday, when I surfed the net, Wikipedia states that 44% of the children in Nepal are the victims of child labor. And out of that 44%, 60.5% of the children are made to work 19 hours every day. And doesn't that show that we have lost the battle against child labor? Obviously, it does. Child labor is a complex issue where children are made to work prematurely like adults, working for long hours at low wages and affecting their physical, mental, and social health, depriving themselves of education. Well, my fellow opponents, you all gave us such a wonderful speech here, but let me raise a question to you. How many of you really don't have a child worker in your home who does every household chore for you, who washes your dishes, who makes your bed ready, who gets the food ready? Very few will have the positive answer to me, and yet you are arguing that we have not lost the battle. Come on. ILO, established in 1919, had a convention that aimed to prohibit children working below 14 in industries and many other child labor areas. Yet, there are so many workers. Globally, children are victimized as rag pickers, porters, laborers in carpet industries, brick industries, cement industries, and still we are complaining that we are on the verge of winning the result. No, we are not. Our legislations, our laws does not guarantee protection of children. Our laws have failed today because our system is so much riddled by corruption. Child laborers every day. Come on, my opponents. Every day when you walk by the streets, you see child laborers. You see every day in the restaurant you eat, in every place you go, you see you see child laborers, and still you're arguing that we have won the fight against the child labor. Definitely not. Until and unless there is a change in our legislations, 1.66 million children are still the victims of child labor in Nepal only. So, until and unless we change our systems, we have to say that fight against child labor is being lost by this time. Thank you.
Your last competition was an average. You got into the semi-final in a very bottom level. I'm glad you have picked it up today. And a very good start. You're very clear. You had a flow. And you also brought variation in the expression, which is very important to get a grip on your viewers or your audience.
I liked the presentation, but a little bit of less hand movements because everything that moves attracts the audience attention, and they will not be able to concentrate on whatever you speak. So in presentation, I would prefer you to stand a little bit straight with your back straight, shoulders back. Can you try? And your head a little bit up. Okay, then you will become more comfortable and more confident. Okay.
Samiksha, in the beginning, I thought I was in a play or something, not in a bad way, in a good way. So it's good. You were clear. You were confident in what you're saying. But I'll agree with her. Relax a little. You do have confidence, but your body was very stiff. And another thing I would say is. You have done your research, but I wish you gave more concrete examples at this point, at this stage. And because your argument was good, but it has to be the best. Okay?
Now I'd like to call upon our next participant, Yamini Kedia, from Moran Indian School, who will be speaking against the motion.
When was the last time when a major program was organized to create awareness about child labor? Just this June, on the Child Laborers Day. When was the last time any incident of child labor was brought to the limelight? Well, every day the newspapers are overflowing with incidents of people trying to curb out child labor, the union movement against child labor in Jakarta, or the persistent raids in India and Nepal against child labor. How many of us know that child labor is a social vice and has legal repercussions? All of us. We all at our individual level are fighting against child labor. Aren't we? And yet, the fight for child labor is getting lost. But the fact is that this battle has reached new heights, with people having hundreds of links on the internet to contribute to the education of a child. Videos are uploaded on YouTube that gather the attention of the entire world. TV programs are shown that raise the deepest of emotions in an individual. Right from countries ratifying laws against child labor to including various issues related to child labor in the school curriculum, the fight against child labor has come a long way. Innumerable NGOs and INGOs are working together on a single motive to eliminate child labor, and schools like Koseli in our country are there to make a difference. Statistics also show that the number of child laborers fell by 11% in the first half of this decade, and those involved in the hazardous work fell by 26%. However, the decline in child laborers progressed at a slow rate due to the economic recession in the second half. But I have a question. Isn't fighting poverty fighting child labor? Isn't fighting unemployment fighting child labor? For all we know that these are the main causes of child labor. At last, I'd like to finish by saying that this is a tough battle. It is not about numbers or percentage. It is about saving every child and saving their childhood. And the way this fight is continuing, that day is not far when every child will get back their childhood. And who knows, it might be 2016, the year set by ILO. Thank you.
Yamini, much better compared to your audition and even the last time. You started with very good content, your nice expression, and your impressive expression, in fact. However, I would have looked out for more data, facts, and more convincing points.
So it would have been repetitive, like the data is already told by them.
The data that we already told, but then you could have countered your opponents, which was totally lacking. But compared to your previous presentations, this is much better. This is the best performance you have ever given.
Okay, Yamini, I like the way you opened the presentation, but the way you ended, like you have to little bit stress on the theme of your, debate. So, and otherwise you are clear, calm, natural, and also I like the voice intonation, the way you leveled up your voice, you stress the point you have to stress, and I like that very much. All the best.
So I'm going to have to agree with her. Your voice was, it wasn't way up high or way up lower. It was just the exact thing that you need for a debate. It catches your debate, your counter's attention, and I think a very good body language. Keep that up. I would agree with him in saying that you need more examples. Like I said in the beginning, you need more fire. You need to work on that, and to win this competition, you have to put forth your counter argument. Okay, all the best.
Now I'd like to request all the participants to come up on stage for their decision.
Ready for the results? This has been the most difficult group to judge so far, right? It's because most of you have performed very well. Even then, we have the result. We have marked the highest, we have granted the highest marks to Monica Nirola. You can step forward. Second was very difficult because there was very similar marks with three of you. But we had to pick one, and so we had to pick for the second, for the finalist, Yamini Kedia. And today, Samiksha and Subhasri, you're very close to the second. You're very, very close. We had a really tough time with three of you, and I hope you participate in the next, and then prove it upon. You both are very good debaters. Monu and Supriya, you have done very good in the past, and today somehow, whether you were tired or nervous or distracted, you both are very good debaters. I have judged you in the past. I wish you both good luck also for the future. I encourage you to participate in debate with us, with somewhere else, because you're all very good debaters, right? And Monica and Yamini, see you in the finals.
India.